What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken from the Dyslexic Investor here, and my screen just went wacky there. Excuse me. And I wanted to make sure everything is good. Can I get a like there? You can kind of see had a little misclick in the back here. Kind of get that camel front and center again. I think, yeah, today is Wednesday. I just wanted to double check to make sure that it was Wednesday, so I did the proper screen cap in the back to kind of signify a hump day there. So let's go ahead and kind of look at the market. Got questions? You got anything? Let's go ahead and put them in the chat window there, and I'll do my very best to get and to answer your questions and so forth. Of course, we're going to be looking at some charts. We can do some overviews, some things. Going to be rendering out a video that's going to be coming out later today about some Wall Street Bets traders who made a very nice return on Nikola. They nearly took about the same put that we took, or I did, with my short on Nikola last week. And then someone betting huge on Walmart. I said it was kind of questionable on some insider trading of just why would he buy that 119. Anyways, that being said, let's go ahead and just get this show started here. Should get this out of the way. Let's see here. Double checking if audio is okay. Looks like it's okay. Not seeing it. Okay, here we go. Looks like oh shoot, something just went down. Okay, there. Okay. Terribly sorry. It looks like everything is back now. It looks like they had to refresh the whole Chrome bar here. Hey there from Central Florida. What up, my friend? Yes, Camel Hump Day. Fish, what's up? How you doing? Thanks, everyone, for joining. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah. You guys got Tesla. Tesla's kind of been acting, I wouldn't say strange. So I put out a little, I don't know if I put it on Instagram, but I know I did it on YouTube. Audio good, thank you. It kind of hit this is very rare for the stock to hit the 423.6. That's even weird saying it. What's up, Ryan? Thank you for joining. The 423.6 percentile move from the previous swing high to low. This again, it's kind of not an exhaustion line, but it kind of made it's like the first line of resistance. We kind of said if it starts breaking above this, it's really going to tear. Honestly, this is nothing to go crazy about. The company's not failing or nothing crazy is happening. This is like we're talking multiple gap ups. Like this can easily come back down to $1,100, and you shouldn't worry. If you bought some calls up here, hoping for $2,900 for the end of the week, you're playing some Wall Street Bets kind of trading there. So be very careful with that. Oh, right. Yep. Audio good. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, Mr. Bear, thanks for joining. Not in the AM, bro. What's up? Billy, what's up, Ken? Can you do Wells Fargo? Yeah, we can do a look at some Wells. So again, they are reporting next week, I believe, right? Yeah, so a lot of the banks are coming out the 14th, so that would be Tuesday in the AM probably. Usually they do it before the market, and of course it's not clicking on me now. Yeah, before the market on Tuesday. So basically you have to get your trades in by Monday if you wanted to be trading around this, or be careful of this. Honestly, this is just kind of just printing lower. Who asked this question? Billy. Looking again between the 5 and 8 exponential ramp, just kind of grinding lower. But again, earnings is literally next week. This could really just take off in the other direction or continue going down. I don't know what the fundamental story is on why this is failing. It's probably due to a lot of small businesses going out. The overall economy is being hit hard in some sections and some are not. Like you're seeing a lot of the tech stuff, the Facebooks, the Googles, the Teslas are just taking off, but you're seeing a small other subsection of the overall economy just being killed, and just mostly in the restaurants and tourist and entertainment and travel stuff is really just getting taken out to the barn and just being you know what. And again, who gives them those loans? It's the banks. So this one is, if it can start getting above this, if it starts closing above the 8, because it's not even really building a base here either Billy. So maybe after earnings, we kind of can get some things cleared out, get a better answer, better direction on what's happening, and just potentially trade sideways, and we can kind of see what happens from there. Yeah, banks are doing poorly. Yeah, without a doubt, Brian. Fish, Ken, I bought that cat call, but I moved up to 150 from the 160, waiting for news for more. Yeah, again, I think that the Caterpillar is going to be kind of in the same boat, I think, if you're looking at the fundamental story. The only thing on here is if it starts breaking below the 34, which is good, it's kind of continue going higher. So that 34.21 is kind of the intersection between the $125 call there. That being said, that is, again, the first level of downside. It can easily go down to 120 if, again, some bad news comes out, because, again, earnings season is starting, and I don't know if a lot of companies are going to get a nice easy pass coming into this second quarter due to the virus and the pandemic that we're currently seeing. To potential upside, again, we talked about like the 135. I think we did the breakdown too, Fish, on what the options market is predicting. So what did I say when I can bet you tell you on here when their options are coming out. They're probably going to be coming out the end of probably this right here. They're probably coming out the 17th-ish, the week of the 17th. Yeah, no, it's not. The 31st. Holy moly, I'm way off. 31st. Okay, that kind of makes sense, a little bit higher. So $11 plus or minus. Again, those are just, again, the overall what the options are predicting the market makers. So $11 where we're currently at would kind of put it around the 138 to 139 potentially. Again, that will increase your overall calls, but depending how far those calls are out, I would definitely give yourself plenty of time for those to kind of work out. We do have a slight squeeze setting up. The volume oscillator is positive, and same with RSI. It's just hanging out, and bet you just kind of seeing how the overall earnings really starts. Kevin, what do you think of NIO? I got the 15.5 call, 710, looking like it's oversold in the 5-minute. So, Kevin, it's hard for me to tell you on what's happening on the 5-minute chart because it's a little bit too much noise for me. But I can give you like a breakdown on the daily side. I haven't looked at it today. You said you got the call for this Friday. Yeah, I normally don't like to trade. Again, like we talked about this on the video last night, discussing the potential of some overall rotation in this. Again, this is a very fast, high momentum-driven stock, and it's kind of it's playing off the heels of Tesla, lack of a better words, in the sense of it really has these two large gap ups like Tesla had, and now guess what? Tesla's down today, and guess what? NIO's kind of down today again. It's kind of it's in its wake. Tesla being the larger company, and this is kind of just in the wake behind it, kind of getting the after effects of what's happening at Tesla. So this could easily kind of just mimic Tesla, again, potentially coming all the way down to the 21, which was around $8.20. Like I know that sounds super extreme, but over here we're seeing a lot of overbought here on the RSI. Could be slightly skewed, but again, if we start looking at on the weekly side, which kind of gives you a better understanding, we just hit the beginning of the week at the overbought here on the weekly side. It's pretty. I wouldn't say the weekly is more. It gives me more of a definition of being overbought than the daily, because it's, again, a weekly is a larger time frame. It's going to take some more consolidation and more movement. So this is a pretty easy sign to potentially say, I think the 1528. I'm not going to be 100% sure about it, but in the next week or two could be the potential top as of right now. I don't normally have to say that, but that being said, it can easily continue to run without a doubt, because it's a momentum-driven stock. Once it starts breaking below the 5 and 8, it kind of gets removed from being a very momentum-driven stock, and now kind of trading into the norm with a lot of other trades. Shamut. BA, yeah, we can look at BA. So BA has kind of been a little, it's not been, we sold the 185. The 185, yeah, we sold the 180, no, sorry, 180 put here. I had to double check my screen real fast. Yeah, we sold that, and as you know, I do some witchcraft on the side, and I have some spells. And this current spell it's called the pink line spell, where if we draw the pink line, that the stock is not allowed to cross through it. Maybe I didn't enchant this enough or something, but I broke it. So stuff happens. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a new spell on it. And we're actually going to turn it to a slight purple color, maybe a little bit lighter pink depending on what your pigment is, and we're going to move it just slightly, kind of mimicking the 34 exponential moving average there. If I can move that, kind of like that. So we want this to continue just kind of grinding up here, just slightly here, to see what happens. We start seeing the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21 and seeing some heavy down selling. We could see it could be easily come down to the 50-day without a doubt. That being said, we have a pretty enormous amount of time on those puts, or the sold puts that we sold, so we can roll them, we can get out of them, we can roll them up or down. So I'm not stressing. Again, this was the way I trade. I don't like to keep myself up at night, so I like to do trades that I can easily maintain and just kind of watch and see what happens. We are actually the first day of a squeeze also indicating here with the overall. Again, this isn't something you should go crazy about, but that is a good indication that the Bollinger Bands and Keltner channels are coming in for a potential burst higher. We are seeing we're needing somewhat of a push here on the volume zone oscillator to kind of get above positive numbers. I think this was just a negative day in the overall market due to, I believe someone in Discord said that American Airlines may lay off like 3,500 people. 35,000 people, and that's never good. You never want to hear mass layoffs without a doubt. But again, hopefully this pink-purple line holds. Hopefully I enchanted it enough, potentially for a push higher. Maybe just a slow grind, honestly, and I'll take a slow grind any day. What is your favorite? How did you learn? Favorite indicator? I don't have a favorite indicator. I just have a favorite stuff that I look at. My favorite thing I always look at is the 21. I just look at the 21 EMA and just that can tell me a pretty strong story. And then I start working my way through some other things like the TTM squeeze. And the TTM squeezed I learned from a lot of videos from John Carter from Simpler Trading, and then I took some coursework from him as well many years ago. Bearish on Canadian banks, BMO, BNS, no position yet, Mr. Bear. Well, Mr. Bear, I wouldn't put it past you, but if you have a name like Mr. Bear, you can't be Mr. Bull, if you know what I mean. What is my biggest win ever in money? Probably a Facebook short many years ago. I bought a $200 put, and I made a nice little retracement on that. That was really nice. Is there a possible split in Tesla? Yeah, people can talk about that all the time. So I did a video many light years ago, but it was I did a Tesla split stock. I think I did it. Maybe I didn't post it. Yeah, I did it. Okay, I did it on February. In February. So I kind of had my overall thoughts of like, hey, this company is just really running here, and it could just easily get away from itself. I'll post that there. That's that link right there, where again, it's like if you kind of compare it to like an Apple or like a Netflix or things like that, these huge companies who have really seen these splits take place. So let me show. I think Netflix. We have to go to a pretty large time frame to see that. So you can kind of see here, that's the split, that little purple logo here, or pink or purple, where they did a 7-for-1. So each, so you're gonna get 7 shares for each one that you had. Again, that stock, I think it was probably around $700. Yeah, I think it was exactly at $700, and they did a 7-for-1. And that's the time where I kind of went really heavy into investing into it, and I rode it all the way up to basically 125, and I got out of it. And then I just kind of been trading in around this position for a while, missing probably some of the larger parts of it. Yeah, so again, they can also look this at Apple. They have done it twice, I believe. Yeah, they did it once, maybe once. Sorry. Again, so much information here. Because they also did a 7-for-1. So I think Tesla, without a doubt, I think could do it. I would love for them to do it. It would just allow people to get in at a cheaper price rather than having the very large hedge funds just own majority of not majority of the stock, but only the ones really able to trade it. Like Berkshire Hathaway kind of did the same thing with like their the B-level stock. That being said, Amazon probably will never do it because it's just ego, what Bezos thinks of. But yeah, it would be great. I think it would be great, even though with some brokers allowing fractional shares, I think that that still helps, but like you just want to own like 10, 15 shares outright instead of just buying fractional shares. It's a start, right? David J, thank you for joining, my friend. Let's look at SPY. Yeah, we can look at SPY. So SPY has just kind of been just continued grinding higher. It kind of had that huge pop to get out of the box. It still kind of fell back into the box. Again, we wanted to continue to trade higher. Nothing too crazy as of right now on what we're looking at for selling or what could happen with the overall market. It's still trading between the 5 and 8. Can easily pull back down to the 309 to 310 level, and that shouldn't be too concerning. This could be an easy flush out to potentially to kind of rubber band higher. We could see that happening. If you're going to be like a Mr. Bear, you want to see these 5 and 8 start curling over and actually start crossing through the 21 and the 34 and potentially start getting below the 302, having these parabolic SER switch to the top to the bottom. So from the bottom to the top, and then continue going lower, kind of breaking through the lower end of this box around 297 for continuous lower prices. I think we're going to see what the market wants to do in the next week once banks report, because the banks are a huge component. They're like the second most largest cap in the overall S&P 500. Of course, technology being the first cohort, that is the largest group in the overall indexes. But financials are really pretty close behind, I think at 18 or some odd percent of the overall index. So hopefully that was helpful, David. Any thoughts on Solo? There have been a lot of focus on the electric vehicle market lately. Just heard about them. Adam, yeah, we can look at them. So, yeah, again, I think this overall EV market is just going to continue going higher. And I'm not going to be telling anyone to do anything, but if I want to be in the market, I need to own the best. And what I think the best is actually Tesla. So I believe Tesla is the creme of the creme, as they say in Italian cuisine, maybe French, I don't know. I'm just joking. This looks like a really good chart again, and this is, again, a really strong correlation due to what's going on in the overall market within the EV market trend, that is. So it's between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average, been really riding up. We really kind of get this kind of parabolic FOMO kind of mentality here for a potential kind of coming down once the steam kind of runs out. Not saying it's going to come crashing down, going to zero, but it's going to have to consolidate, potentially trade sideways for a little bit, let these longer term moving averages kind of catch up and continue to print higher from there. So hopefully that was helpful for you there, Adam. Joe, what do you think about Zoom and a split? Maybe there a possibility of getting into the S&P 500? Yeah. So you said ZM, Zoom. Okay, ZM. So ZM, yeah, another great overall market trend here as well. Again, ever since the virus and the overall pandemic of everything, it has been really just a new word in our vocabulary of rather saying let's Google it or let's Uber it. It's literally like let's Zoom it, let's jump on a Zoom meeting, whatever. This is easily can continue grinding higher, and I think this will continue just performing fairly well in the sense of the overall market. Could it come down a little bit? Yes. I think it's somewhat inflated and overvalued in the sense of maybe enriched, maybe is a better word. Sorry, I need some water. Like I'm not saying it's overvalued or enriched, but it's more like it's really just trading between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average very tightly and just slowly continue grinding higher, which is great. Could it easily come back down and kind of wash some people out? The RSI has been just really hovering around the 70 to 80 kind of level, which is pretty extreme. Again, this is the first time it really that we've had a system-wide global pandemic like this in the 21st century, so there's a lot of people scrambling around to kind of give a better understanding of what's going to happen. Are things going to stay the same? Things like that. So I think Zoom's going to be a pretty large component for the years to come, even though there's a lot of other competitors that kind of have the same video conferencing stuff. But Zoom has just been the market leader, just like how Tesla has been, just really capturing and being the brand name behind the EV or the EV for Tesla, and then video communication for Zoom. Yeah, so upside, it can be, I can't really draw too much upside because it's just, again, momentum driven, so between the 5 and 8. To the first level of downside support, if you're short-term day trading it, you're going to have to start looking around the 260, and then down to the 21, it's going to be around 243. Not seeing any earnings on the horizon, so yeah, definitely always a fun one to watch. What is the system that you are looking at? That's Thinkorswim, my friend. That's Dino. What price action volume versus indicators for intraday? What price action and volume versus indicators? So for price action, I just look at the price action in the sense of where it's moving, and then I use the parabolic SER to kind of help me with the overall trend alongside with the moving averages of the 21. What really kind of helps with the overall trend and what I like is volume and momentum is between the momentum with the TTM squeeze and the overall volume oscillator kind of helps me gauge on what the overall strength could be. David, thanks Ken. You're always appreciate your analysis and I'm very bullish on SPY and I expect a break upwards. Banks reported Tesla being a potential of being put in the SP 5. Yeah, of course they can get any Apple. Boy. Yeah, not in the AM, bro. JP Morgan. Yeah, so we kind of covered the banks in the beginning, but I think JP Morgan has a little bit different. Yeah, it looks kind of the same on how. What is the first one we looked at? Was it Wells Fargo? Yeah. So this is performing a little bit better, not about the exactly same as Wells Fargo. Again, below the 200, kind of trading lower between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average. The momentum, it kind of has a better base here in the sense, but the 5 and 8 are still kind of curling down. Needs to kind of start curling up here for some potential higher prices. Again, with earnings just coming out next week, could be a strong question mark on what can happen here. Really need to see it above the 21 if you want the trend to really change. So one that I was looking at was like Bank of America. Was it Bank of America? No, it was Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs is a little bit different. They're not completely front-facing. I wouldn't call it a traditional bank, like a Bank of America or Wells Fargo or JP Morgan. But that is basically the overall looking at the it's still, so JP Morgan's really around the 200-day here. The 5 and 8 exponential moving average has been really tight, with Goldman Sachs again being with the credit card now, looking for a potential upside here. Again, potential upsides resistance is around 209. Again, earnings coming out as well. The volume oscillators performing a little bit better, basically being at 0, potentially could go higher there. So that's kind of like this is not considered a traditional bank, so I wouldn't put it in the same banking category, but some do. It's considered in the financial section, but yeah. Hello, please stream in 1080 if possible. Yeah, I've been working on trying to do different things in the stream to kind of upgrade it, perform it better, and kind of get a better transmission to everyone. So yeah, just hang tight there, and I'm continuously working. I think I finally got the microphone setting right, and trying to have this overall stuff just go well for everyone. But yeah, we can definitely, the overall screen of everything is next basically in line to kind of get upgraded as well. Plato, thumbs up. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, let's go ahead and just check with the overall market. So we look at SPY. Yeah, nothing to really report here. Like Apple's just been super strong here, literally making an all-time high again today. Again, they're reporting earnings next week as well, right? Or the third, so the end of the month for Apple. But the first line of overhead resistance is around basically 400 or 398. That's a Fibonacci retracement number there for it to kind of continue to hit that. Again, with the overall trade here, let's say plus or minus $30 from where we're currently trading. So we're at, let's call it 380. So that $400 price target is overall in target or in line to hit that price. If the overall market just continues going higher and grinding higher, which honestly Apple's just doing because it's been trading between that 5 and 8 so very beautifully, and just trying to reach for that goal. IDEX, we have not talked about it. Yeah, I think did we talk about this one last time, Joe? So this one has kind of been really again, some news breaking or something of something going on here. But again, very FOMO, completely parabolic, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit. Kind of broke through the 21. The 34 really came in for support here, bounced off the 34, and now it's continuing higher. We really need this. Again, these are pretty positive signs. We just continue to start closing above the 21. The 8 never crossed through the 21, which is also a good sign. So if you want to nibble it, potentially, it's hard to buy something up 34%. Again, we're talking it's a dollar stock, so it's not really my cup of tea, and so I couldn't give you too much information on investing into or trading it because it's a really small price stock, and it's hard to get fills on options and stuff like that for me. Bob, hey, just wanted to stop by and say hello and have a great day. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it, man. Hope you have a wonderful day as well. Brian, Ken, check out D again. It's making gains, waiting for a build a base around 76 to load. Yeah, let's look at it. Yeah, so it's really kind of, lack of better words, kind of bounced off the 50% retracement from the previous swing high to low. We can kind of do this. I think we did this, and we did this for the Patreon. Maybe I don't think I did that actually. From the previous high to swing low. Look at that. Look at that, boys. From the previous high to swing low, it bounced off that 50% retracement. Like, look at that. Look at that. You seeing that shit? It's not to the T, but it's pretty effing close. Maybe I didn't do it on that stock, but it's really just bouncing off that Fibonacci extension there. Again, this is kind of trying to form up for a V-shaped bottom. We really need to see this momentum start from red to kind of turn to yellow, and the volume oscillator to kind of go positive. On the weekly side, it looks like there's a squeeze already intact here, but the momentum's kind of drying out here. Why is this not so blown up here? This is, yeah, it's a strange looking chart. Like, it's hard for me to get into this one right now because it's, again, they're talking about, it's not approved yet, I don't think, with what's his name, Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway buying this company for like $10 billion. But again, yeah, so this is basically, if it starts breaking below this, this would be a sign for potential further downside. If it starts breaking that, again, this is just a very short-term floor support here. But again, potentially we want to start seeing this, again, crawl higher, the 5 and 8 to potentially start leveling off, seeing this TTM momentum squeeze, turn yellow, and potentially start curling up. But that's a good looking chart. So you're saying around 76 to load up. Yeah, it can easily trade between, like, it can trade down to 71 if it can really consolidate here, kind of jig-jagging around here before it really starts building a base and kind of figuring out what's going to happen for its next potential upside move here. Yep. Carter, looks like Elon is trolling the SEC in betting on testing. I wouldn't put it past him, right? Wouldn't put it past him. San Francisco, can you do a Brazilian? I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that data because it's a. I'll try. PETR4. No, I don't think I'm going to get that. Yeah, the symbol can't be found. So if it's a Brazilian traded company, yeah, it's not even, yeah. I'm sorry, my friend, I'm not able to load that chart for you there. Another chart I wanted to talk to you about, it was actually RingCentral. So this is, again, another stock that's been performing extremely well. Again, due to people work from home and over things like that. So I think this was on the list that I shared with the Patreon folks for some stay-at-home pandemic stocks. This thing has been just a slow grinder higher. Again, taking a huge boost again from the overall correction in the market and the new change in the trend. Really just kind of grinding higher in the 21, kind of coming down to the 34 a couple times, but just really just grinding higher, hitting an all-time high just basically 2 days ago, and looking very poised for another really strong run for higher prices. So the thing with this one, it looks like we can do a previous swing high to low here. Let's do, kind of give us a better understanding. So this is a really key indication here. So the 1272, where it kind of failed once, failed twice, failed 3 times, and then finally broke through it. We potentially, in the next overhead resistance here, would be kind of around the 324, 325 potential level for this to continue to grind higher. And then it gets downward support is going to be basically around the 283-ish down to basically 280 here. But it's kind of really going to be closer to the further downside of around 280, around the 21 exponential moving average. Play-Doh, how about Dogecoin? TikTok users are bumping it up. Ugh. I can't do that. You just said too many things on I can't do it, Play-Doh. What is this? This is a traded company? Okay. It's a coin. Okay. So it's some kind of a currency that they're using within the app? Or what is it? Do you know the difference between two stocks like SPX and SPSY? It seems like Phillips 66. But not sure what the differences are with the Nikola and Nikola W. I don't know what Nikola W is. I'll be straight with you. I would have to Google it. Oh, this is the warrants. So the warrants, I think, is something this is something to do with the SEC, or whenever these warrants come to terms, this is ones that sell out. So this is basically kind of trades slightly different. Honestly, I can't give you a really well-defined answer. I would have to make sure I got my terms right, but this is kind of like not an inverse, but it's the chart looks exactly the same, but this is just a different price of where the individual. It comes down to, I believe, the SEC filings with the earlier term investors, or the earliest people who kind of got into the stock. Because again, that looks pretty much the same. Yes, it's different prices, but it's still the same looking chart pattern. But if you're trading at things like that, you wouldn't want to. I don't think you can trade options on NKW, probably, right? Yeah. So it's just it's another like a checkbox for what's the word for the people to trade that. Newbie, what did you write? You retracted it. Can you look at C? Yeah. Oh, it's a cryptocurrency. Yeah, I don't want to touch those right now. Yeah, C. So that's the Chinese. Or no, what is it? Am I looking at the right one now? Are you talking about C? Oh, SE. Okay. So this has just been a rocket ship, right? This is again the formula for just super high momentum. We're trading between the 5 and 8 exponential moving averages. Just continue grinding higher here, hitting an all-time high today. This being said, it's in uncharted territory. It's hard to do any Fibonacci retracements to the upside here. We really needed to wait for a pullback to kind of see what happens here, but this is a very strong looking chart. It starts breaking below the parabolic SAR, which is 111 or $111. This is the first line. The second line of support is around 105. But it looks like it just wants to continue going higher, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, that's a great looking chart. And it's hard to buy into that, but I can't do it. I have to wait for a pullback. Let's see. MO. Let's see here. Why something just went off in the stream again. So I think it's the YouTube studio is just constantly not refreshing the live chat window here. Maybe I need I think there's a way to make it pop out to kind of get it away from the Chrome utility. It's been really bad. Oh, you've been at SE since 104. Nice. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's get back to You said OMO, right? All right. So the good thing here is the parabolic SAR switch from the top to the bottom, which is a good sign for potential trend change. We are kind of seeing the 5 and 8 trying to potentially break through here. Again, this looks like a pretty slow mover here. Nothing too extravagant. But again, the 5 and 8 really need to come through here. It looks like it got some pretty strong support around 39 to 38 here to the downside. Again, the parabolic SR switch, the momentum is continue going higher. The only thing here is slightly concerning. We need the volume zone oscillator to kind of stay positive. And RSI hasn't really moved yet because, again, this stock is not a pretty heavy mover intraday. It looks like this is a slowly grinder up or higher. If you wanted to nibble at it, this could be an opportunity, but it has earnings coming out towards the end of the month, so about 20 days away. This could be a pretty strong factor. We'll see on that continue kind of trading sideways potentially into that earnings quarter. Not too familiar with this company. It sounds very familiar. Just don't know what section it's in. I wonder if Thinkorswim has that, where it kind of just tells you what part of the S&P 500 it kind of looks in. Then, what's the next one? How about GRAF? GRAF. Whoa. What does this company do, Plato? That's crazy. This is crazy. This is like pretty crazy pattern because it looks like it wants to pop higher, come down to 20, pop higher, come to the 8, pop higher, come to the 8, and potentially pop higher again. What does this company do? I'm gonna Google it real fast. GRAF. Graph, Austin, Texas. Does it have to do something with cars? Like, why is this so terrible to kind of get this most basic information out of? Here we go. Orograph. Is this a what's it called? The exchange traded fund, the United States capital. Are they trying to buy someone? Merge. Okay, their technology. Okay, that's what this kind of just looks like. It's a very blurby thing on the Yahoo. Looking at that, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I again, that's pretty. Literally was a $10 a couple weeks ago. Again, looks like it's not a SPAC. Okay. A reverse merger. Okay, interesting. Yeah, this is going to be hard to kind of give you a breakdown because, again, depending on what's going on here, but it literally wants to continue kind of going higher. But it has basically, depending on looks like what like news, I am seeing a large amount of volume coming into this. But again, due to the overall hype up of so many other things, it's just kind of been just a lot of things coming out of the woodwork and just getting upgrades, and a lot of people just throwing money into some things that I maybe shouldn't do. And I don't know anything about this company, so I can't add anything like fundamental that I know about that unless it's something regarding with Tesla. Like who's using it? Hassan Low, L-O Low. And of course it's typed. Lowe's, man, you know it. Like Lowe's, Home Depot has been performing super well due to the fact of everyone's just at home and they're gardening, take care of their grass, things like that. With Lowe's, and we can look at Home Depot as the also comparison. It's just been holding that 21 exponentially very, 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 very well. Really never closing below it here, and just continue grinding higher. Now kind of trading sideways a little bit. This could be in some stage of just kind of, again, just trading sideways, kind of getting some of these moving averages to kind of catch up, taking a break again, because it's been a hell of a sprint from $60 down up to $138. So it's been insane, right? Potential, it's not like had a strong quarter. Looks like this had earnings, so potential upside is around 144. Again, this is not going to be making this in a day. Looking like we're at 135, so we need at least $10. So it's potentially could make this sometimes the beginning of August or the end of August potentially. That's again if the overall economy and the overall this economic beast as it's continued just going higher. This can easily make $44 within the next in the month of August. I would predict. That's a prediction. It's not a fact. But that 21 is going to be your first line of support, and that 34, basically where those parabolic SARs come in, is around 130. So be mindful of that, my friend. Gregory, thanks for all the coverage. You're welcome. And that's a wonderful name, Gregory. Something else I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at work. Poor old work, getting that nice little boost here. Again, there must be something news related on this. Slack CEO servers on routine requiring in the future. I don't know what I don't know what that company is. Don't know anything about that. That's interesting. That's interesting stuff. So let's see. What was the company? I'm horrible. That's why. The CEO, Slack CEO, on rim to acquisition of the future of work. RIMETO. I've never heard of this company in my life. So this is the company over here. So it looks similar, like it's just kind of somehow, again, I don't see Slack buying a company that has nothing to do with what their workspace is in, but there's just been so many other companies out there that do like Teamwork to Asana and all these things, kind of management stuff to kind of help here. It looks like, what are their products? Like I'm still confused on what they do here. Find any office, see key people and local employees, access or documents. It looks like it's something that fits onto other things, like an API of some kind that kind of just cuts into like a 365 client or other products here. It looks like there's Asana, Hangouts, Box. So it basically kind of just creates an overall user profile maybe. I'm just guessing here. But yeah, that's... Well, yeah, whatever. Good you for you work. Yeah. Let's get this away. But it looks like it really wants to continue going higher. The parabolic SR has switched. The squeeze is indicating potentially for another boost higher, looking to potentially see to kind of break out of this gap here to kind of get above the overall $37 level there. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, let's look at Beyond Meat. That's great. Good call. So Beyond Meat, if you don't know, we are in it. Let me see. We have not much of it. We only have, I think, 10 shares right now. I want to make more of it because I want to really get into a bigger position into Beyond Meat because I really think that it's really the future, the trend, and things like that. With, again, it kind of gapped down, hit the 50-day, we bought into it a pretty large percentage, kind of just kind of gapping up and then trading sideways. Potentially, it looks like earning has not been fully disclosed, but looking towards the end of the month for earnings, again, I'm long-term investor in Beyond Meat, so I wanted. It sounds terrible, but I kind of wanted to go lower so I can add more to it. But we'll see what happens. It looks like it just kind of wants to trade in around this range for the last 3 or 4 days. So this is what a base kind of looks like. You're just kind of trading really tight here within the past for the particular 4 or 5 days to kind of trade sideways for a potential breakout or breakdown lower. As of right now, it looks like it wants to continue just trading sideways. Potentially going to be skewing a little bit to the bullish side because the volume oscillator is positive, RSI slightly climbing. The momentum here is yellow here on the TTM squeeze, and the only thing that's really kind of holding this back, and it's hard to see on this chart actually. Let's move it to a 4-hour chart. We really need to see that 5 and 8 on the daily chart to kind of break above it. And on the 4-hour chart, it happened a couple days ago, but this also squeezed on the 4-hour chart. And a key break would be above the 146. If we start seeing above the 146, we could potentially see some fantastic prices there for continue going higher there. Warrants are used for SPACs, Gregory. Yeah, so again, I'm not anything an expert with them in that section at all. I just know that they're used for the early stage investors, correct? And that's how they use to capitalize on their investments, right? Any options plays in mind for Beyond Meat? With earnings on the horizon, like if you wanted to, let's see here. So the options market, let me slide over my Tastyworks account. So with Tastyworks, again, I love Tastyworks. I'm not going to tell you to sign up for it, but I really do enjoy it. And looks like they have earnings. It does make it so clear. Again, me being dyslexic, I love to see everything with pretty colors. It's really simple UI and everything. That being said, it looks like it has earnings on the 3rd. They're saying the 3rd there, but what were they saying here on Thinkorswim? They're saying the 28th. That's going to be a little misleading here. It looks like it's going to be probably the 20th, the week of the, and it's going to have to be this week because the options market is pretty highly elevated already there. So let's just go off that to be 100% sure. And I normally don't want to buy weekly options because if you go in here, you're not seeing a lot of open interest and not a lot of volume. So we can go, oh, I actually have, what the heck? I have one, I got one stock here on this account. That's weird. That must have been a mistake. 29th on TradeView. Okay, so let's just say any month. So what I want to look here, if I'm trading options, I want to be a little bit more, I want to be bullish on it. I could pull it all the way to the August earnings, and I want to potentially sell some puts if you have the capability to do that. So the capability of doing that, you start seeing, look how much more open interest is out there. So the larger the open interest is, the more liquidity, the more easy I'm going to get executed, and the easier I'm going to be able to get out of it. And it looks like there's a lot of stuff buying in around this range here. So if I start selling the 125 and buy the 120, I'm looking at getting a $1.65 for some premium there for potential things. So I want to kind of correlate this with my chart here. So I kind of want to keep it around the 50-day, so it's around 135. So that's a little bit more aggressive than I would like to do because you're going to be pretty close to in the money here, or at the money, not in the money. But if you wanted to play further down the list, you can kind of just make the spread a little bit bigger, and you can, again, the overall loss will be $690. But the overall profit, which you'll probably get 75 to 80% of that profit out of this at 310, that is a pretty heavy position here. It's kind of somewhat half of the overall position I have in my long-term account. Again, this is my options trading account, so it's a little bit different regarding in that. I kind of like this play, honestly, with the overall view in the market. I would like to see some more bullish signals from Beyond Meat before I start doing this. Just again, to the fact of I really want to see that 8 and 5 exponential moving average really crossing through the 21. for some higher prices. And again, that can happen the next 2 or 3 days. So, and there's no rush here on the. So I'm going to actually move this line up here just a little bit here, and kind of want those ticks to kind of break above this. So that's what I would be looking at for my options there. Hopefully that was helpful for you, my friend. And speaking of pretty colors and your superpower, how are you with level 2? Yeah, I'm not a fan, because again, level 2 is going to come down to a lot more if you're day trading something and you're just kind of looking at riding the wave. It's difficult for me to do day trading at really small time frames, because I'm a pretty chill person, I think. So the one thing you learn pretty fast about trading is your personality, and I'm somewhat of a what's the best word to describe it? I like my emotions sometimes to get better at me if it's up or down. So if I'm really up, I can really just continue going higher, or if it's down low, I can continue going lower. And that really is not great for me for day trading. So I did day trading for almost over a year and just broke even, actually slightly down, because I was just spinning the wheels, and I wasn't really to the technical stuff on the day trading stuff can just fail so fast, and I kind of like to see things slowly turn positive or turn negative. If things kind of move so fast for me, my brain can't comprehend it, and I just don't do very well. So you just gotta kind of find what works for you, my friend. Ken just want to say that I love the way you do technical analysis, and you're reading the charts and telling your opinions, what you're seeing. No doom or gloom or hype up on the market. Yeah, thank you, Brian. So I kind of keep it pretty simple. I like the KISS method, which is keep it simple, stupid. And I remind myself that almost every day, probably every hour. I'm like, why am I overcomplicating this? And just, you know what, like, the stock market's here to continue going higher, so let's just see on what we can get from here. And I want to invest into things that I believe in that will continue going higher, because if I didn't believe, and if I didn't literally buy Beyond Meat sausages just the other day at the store, and I was like, because Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts is now offering a McMuffin or whatever with Beyond Meat sausage on it, let me just buy it. But I don't have any, I wouldn't say an emotional, but a connection to it, or a fortitude to hold it. I think Beyond Meat would be fantastic stock. So that's just my personal opinion. You're very welcome. I've been holding Nugget on long-term account. What do you think? Is Nugget the gold inverse? Or I always forget, it's Nugget, or I always get those two mixed up. Oh, it's a gold miner. Okay. Yeah, I think so. It's a gold miner. This is another thing. I never got the difference between the pure commodity of gold and then the understanding of gold miners. Like, I don't understand I understand there's a difference. I understand the miners need to get out the gold, and the futures for gold, the commodity is slightly just the pure mineral of the gold coin or bullion or whatever it's called. Yeah. That being said, it looks pretty good. It looks like it's been really been moving the last couple days, which is kind of strange with the overall market going higher. I want to look at what gold is doing. Like, gold's up $10 today, but again, it's only up 0.5%, making all-time highs today. That's, I wouldn't say concerning. I think this is due to a lot of people on the overall inflation of the dollar potentially, and the potential drop in those prices within the dollar. and people want a more stable way to trade, I believe, because we're not hitting an all-time high again with the futures market in the S&P 500, but that could be I don't think gold and the overall equities is a complete inverse anymore. They can kind of trade on their own, and just kind of see what happens. Looks like Bitcoin's been moving a lot today as well for a potential spike higher. Interesting. So the one I always look at too is actually the Russell. So people always complain about, hey, WTF, what is your view? Why aren't the more people caring about the small restaurants, the small business owners? If you want to really invest and look into some smaller companies and you want to have equity in it, you're going to have to look at the Russell 2000 or 3000. This is going to be your best bet. So the Russell is usually the first leg of what could happen. There's a ticker I can't think of right now that is something. What's the transportation ETF? Like the FedEx and the UPS and the other things. Thought I added it on my list here. Maybe not. Can't think of it now. ZS. Yes, I love ZS. So we bought some stock into ZS actually a couple days ago. Kind of kept it a little to myself. Oh, sorry, I missed the thing. We have love you. Oh, thank you. We have a Discord and we talk about a lot of stocks, and we would love for you to join. We do daily morning calls and say our ideas. Honestly, most of the times I normally don't really like trade. You guys do an intraday trading? Because I really don't do that kind of stuff. But you can send me an invite without a doubt, and I'll check it out. I normally don't really use Discord for chat or voice chat, but I kind of thought doing that maybe particular in mind. Maybe just for the Patreon folks to kind of get an upgraded feature to kind of talk directly to folks. Yeah, what stocks did you guys talk about today? Big, what's up, Big? Thank you for joining, my friend. ZS, yeah, let's look at ZS. So ZS is something that we bought a small Schmidt bid in. Where did that go? Yeah, let me move this out of the way. I think we bought it in some. Yeah, we bought it in 5 shares. This is again in the short-term trading account. We're looking for. It looks like it already kind of fired along here today for this run up, potentially trying to get to that 21. For me, it was just a very simple trade, potentially trying to get to 23 and just getting out. Again, just a small trade to kind of see on how that the overall strategy that I have on some indications and some stuff that I'm using for alerts to kind of trade higher. I think ZS is a company that's going to here to stay. Again, with the overall market, it's just been performing very well. And this last quarter was quite a blowout here, and it's kind of really just been trading sideways. The thing too, Big, isn't it the CEO owns a huge, pretty large share of the company, right? I think he owns I think it's like 20% or maybe more. I think it was 24%. So I've always wanted to actually make a video on this, on some trades from this, but there hasn't been too many very active trades on this. That being said, really just kind of trading sideways now into potential earnings, but we'll see on where we go from there. Awesome. You have a couple hundred people in your Discord and still working on it and planning on launching it in a month or 2. Yeah, just send me an invite if you feel comfortable with me joining. I'm not going to trash or anything. Give me one. Let me look at this real fast. Checking something on my phone. Drink some water. a lot of us, including me, trade options. Yeah, I think options are great, but you have to be super careful with them. I think the thing I do with my Wall Street bets, looking at stuff, is more or less kind of like kind of showing what. Yes, options can be super powerful if you buy way out of the money and it just continues going higher. But the the trade can go completely other directions. I do have a Discord, yes. What? Let me see here. I always get it mixed up. It should be in the description below. You should be able to click on it. I think we have a couple hundred people in there. Yeah, let's look at pins. Look at PINS. Nope. PINS. Oh. Let's see here. Pinterest. Okay, this has been performing very well. Looks like it. Really breaking out again. This is a newer IPO, correct? And looking like it kind of just broke out here at the IPO last year. I think if I remember the story right, it kind of failed, and people question on how they actually make money and things like that, and if it ever would kind of turn a profit. I think it turns a profit, but like how they would actually grow compared to like a Facebook or like that. Why would someone go so far like on that? So this is a pretty interesting one that you just brought up. This is interesting. Looks like the 618 is really a pretty high percentile move from the previous swing high to low here. So at the 2662, looking some overhead resistance. If it can close above this, this would be a really great sign to kind of break this overall trend that really kind of failed basically the end of last year and really just has not been able to break above it. It tried here basically in the February, and then the virus came and really just took it down lower, and now looking for a potential another shot higher here to continue kind of breaking out potentially to get above this level. If it can close above this with really some momentum, potentially building a base, could easily get to 31 if things kind of line up. To the downside, you're going to basically see the 21 or around the 23 to 24, 23 to 2350, and then the 200-day has been some pretty strong support here as well, around $21. Big MO. Let's look at that. MOBL. This one looks interesting. What is this? Mobalian? Yeah, I don't know what this. I've heard of this. So let's see. I want to do a fib here on this one. Yeah, so it's failing here at the 50-day, just like we just talked about the previous one, and that was kind of really failing here. At the 618, and then from the previous swing high to low, it's just been kind of not been able to break out here. Kind of failed here. It looks like it's potentially not going to fail here, but it looks like it's just didn't have enough momentum to kind of break that $5.37 to kind of get above that. Oh, it's security. Okay, so it just needs a little bit push higher here on the chart here. It really needs to break above that $5.37 to really get anywhere. Again, downward supports looking around the $4.80. Again, some of the other signals are just kind of slowly kind of peaking higher, but nothing too significant. But we'll see from that goes forth. This is an interesting one. Yeah, this is I like it. It's like around the 200-day, I might want to nibble. So I'm going to put an alert out. Maybe. How long have I been trading? How long have I been trading options? Options maybe 4 years. Trading equities. I've been trading equities since I can remember. I remember I placed my first trade when I was in 8th grade. I actually 8th grade, maybe 10th grade, with the account my father helped me open up. I remember that's back in the day where you had to call the broker and tell them to put in the order. And it was like $25 a trade. And the stock was like maybe $100. I think it was Apple actually. JT, Ken, what's your thoughts on Walmart? Yeah, so Walmart is actually one that we're going to be, I just worked on a video here about Wall Street Bets, who kind of made that overall trade there. So Walmart was kind of on our radar because it's building this is what a base looks like around the 200-day exponential moving average. We like this. Never really broke below it. Never really closed below it. What I mean by that, but now it was a pretty significant move higher. What we wanted to see first was the initial 5 and 8 exponential moving average cross over it, and then potentially get into it for that momentum run higher. But this just happened so fast. Like, we can break this chart down to like a 15-minute chart and just look at it like this. The move from 119, which I think, 119 to basically 126 happened within like an hour. And there was no really chance to be able to get into it. Oh, you got into it, Makeshift? Nice. You're a little late, but you made it. Thanks for joining, my friend. Shane, so with Walmart, if you're trading it, I can't give you any information or any valuable information from that. But if it comes back down to the 118 level, I would like to purchase it. Again, the squeeze did fire higher, but the volume zone and RSI is kind of curling off because, again, we're down a little bit today. But I think that this is still, because we've seen this before where it kind of just pops off and then gets lower. Like, I think it can kind of come down to the 34, the 21 here. So around like 121 if it gets down to that level. And it could even go down to back to this level, but I think it could potentially stop here on the way down because it kind of is making this really weird wedge pattern here and potentially wants to go higher. But we can kind of see here, I think this really highlights here on the Fibonacci retracement. So around the 618 as well, kind of didn't ever really closed above it. Now kind of coming around the 50-day, so 125 is going to be your 50% retracement to kind of keep an eye on that. Again, it's a pretty large green candle, so this is somewhat complacent for this to kind of pull back maybe 50% of this retracement, so we can go do that as well. So we just did the 50%, oh, whoops, 50% retracement of that would be around 122, so we can easily come back to 122. What did I say? 122. That's kind of where the 34 kind of falls into, so that's where it kind of be the first initial support if it comes down lower. Shane, how you doing? Microsoft yet been buying the dips today and low of the day. Nice. Yeah, Microsoft has been killing it. This is just a fantastic company, right? Without a doubt, right? We're looking for that 2226 potentially on the horizon to continue going higher. Again, it's been holding that 21. If you're buying those dips around 21, just continue grinding higher. It's been performing extremely well on that note. Looking like its potential earnings on the 16th, so actually next week, which is pretty great. With that, let's see, but it's not confirmed yet. That's kind of strange. The 16th, so it's on Thursday, so like basically a potential $10 move. So $10 where we're at right now is around 122. So it's going to put it right under where their initial price target is, which was, again, this price target is basically what we're debating about in August. We'll see. But again, yeah, dips are going to be coming around support again. That's where the parabolic SAR has been grinding up on the trend as well, around 200, 199 for Microsoft. Juicy Russian martini. Okay, so my favorite indicators. So juicy. So I have a overall live stream that I did regarding of my indicators and how I trade. I can post that in the. Let me get that for you. So this is the first part of this live stream on what I'm about to post, Juicy Russian, is basically how I set things up, and I kind of go really step by step, I believe, for that. So I just posted that in the chat if you want to check that out. I'll put you on that. There. Microsoft is the beast, yes. Plus 3 million cases now. Yikes. Makeshift. You got the one call. You got the 140 call for Walmart. 9. Okay, all in September at 45 now. It's nice. Wow. Not in the AM, bro. Yeah, my father is a wonderful person. Love him to death. When you come home from elementary school and talk about stocks and every other kid's just talking about Pokemon and you're talking about trying to get in the market, my parents were really awesome and letting me, we're like, okay, like, whatever you want to do, little boy, Kenny. It's strange, but that's fine. Let's see here. We got about 15 minutes left of the market here. Let's see. I've also been buying KL. What's KL? Kirkland Lake Gold. I've never heard. What does that do? What is that, Shane? Oh, these are just gold miners? So, New Mount Corp. This is one thing I've traded in the past. I've traded this in the past, I know. To the short side, though. Way in the past, though. Like, I have to go way in the months in the past. I think it was like it was around 2012, 2013. I've shorted this thing. They're all miners, yeah. Makeshift player. Once you start the stock market game or the ideal of investing for yourself, you'll never stop. Like, this is the great thing about this options trading or just investing or things like that. You will always continue to do it, and you'll always learn something new. I'm always looking to expand my knowledge, look at different techniques, look at different things, just trying to expand my horizon. And especially if you really have a curious brain on how things work, how companies make money, it's a fantastic daily giving grace of the stock market. You're welcome, Juicy Russian. Tree, are you willing to look at TLRB? What is that? Yeah, Tree. I think you asked us about this last time about some. This looks terrible. Like, again, it's a penny stock, which I don't touch, but this overall thing is just continue going lower. It's well below 200-day. It's just continue grinding lower. You might get a pop from your 50 cents to $1 and can make some money, but this is just a downward trending target, and I really don't like that. And plus, it's a penny stock. I've got myself smacked across the face with penny stock. Yeah, it actually helps because the thing is very rare is having people that also enjoy trading or investing, and then trying to find people who also do options. It's like finding a unicorn, and you're finding a unicorn with a pot of gold and and just whatever. And it gets struck by lightning twice, and it also had the winning lottery ticket on its horn. It's just so unlikely that there's so many people that you might know that you physically talk to that actually trade options unless you're online. Yeah, it's something hard to very hard to get into telling people on how to save and invest. So it's usually people like to find it on their own. You can kind of show them the positive trends and of understanding where your money goes and things like that. But if you talk to people who trade or who don't trade, I'm sorry, and they just think the whole market's rigged, and it's just rich people on Wall Street just moving levers up and down. BA, we can do BA again. I want to see on where they stand on the pink line here. It looks like it's performing pretty well. It looks like it might turn positive today a little bit. That's great. Again, I think our witchcraft worked. Is Brian still on the chat? We're looking like our witchcraft enchantment has worked. I actually want to I don't want to change the color again and voodoo it, but it's looking fairly indication of breaking above this to continue going higher. So I can't go. Are you selling naked calls, or are you buying those calls? So I usually don't like to do. I always buy some kind of protection, and if I'm buying straight out calls, you really have to hit it on the money. And if you're buying straight out calls, especially on this, you're gonna have to buy them in the money, so you're gonna have to pay a premium for it. So that's not really my cup of tea. I'd rather just sell puts and kind of just sit and wait. Brian, yeah, Brian's still there. Thank you, my friend. Big liquid Modernum. Stay with purple. Is this purple? Like I guess I'm colorblind. Let me find more of a purple here. I don't want to. I think this is. I don't know if I want to. I think Brian. I think I just effed it up. But I think that's a real purple. That's a royal purple. So we're royal people, Brian. So that's gonna be like. Are you buying straight out calls? Yeah, be very careful because again, you really have to get and nail it right in the timing perfectly for when you're buying straight calls. I do it from time to time, but you just have to be careful. I think BA can easily jump, but I just don't know when, right? With BA just being a little bit lackluster, I just kind of want it slowly grinding up this line. If it jumps up to $213, I'm happy because I'm just selling those puts down here. I know that I'm not going to be making crazy money on it like Wall Street Bets YOLO money, but I'm still creating consistent income. So that's what I look for. Big, let's look at Modernum, mRNA. So this is the one that came out with a potential, was it a vaccine, or they announced some positive data or something like that, and then they had a sale on some stock that really drove it lower, and the 50-day kind of came in for some support, and now we're kind of getting really tangled up here for a potential swing higher or lower. We're seeing the TTM squeeze here really getting tight here. Look, RSI hasn't really moved. We want to see the volume oscillator to kind of pop higher here for some potential higher prices. We are seeing the trend, the parabolic SAR is below, which is good. The 50-day kind of things are getting really tight here, like a bunch of rubber bands. This could really just pop off if something goes positive. Let me look on the weekly side. You know what, Big? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna look on this this chart here real fast. And the squeeze has been going on for quite some time. I'm trying to look at previous squeezes. And I really need to start seeing the 5 and 8 moving averages kind of cross through the 21 before I can really buy into this. But I could swing maybe some shares, just buy some straight out stock, taking less of a risk on that rather than just buying straight out calls. So I'm just going to do super small position, about $1,000. So what is that, like 10? Let's buy 10. I know it's not a lot, but if we can get that move higher to potentially in the next couple days, if they have great news. But this is really interesting here. We really want to see this kind of pop higher. So I'm just going to buy a couple here, see if I can get filled before the close. 5 minutes. Kind of want to pay up a little bit. And not getting filled. Come on. There we go, filled. So, yeah, got some of that. Lewis, what's up, my friend Lewis? Thanks for joining, my friend. Let's look at Baba. BA. Yeah, that's crazy. This is absolutely insane. So I know Davey, the day trader, the guy from that has just been fantastic, been on this stock for quite some time. We kind of talked about this way back here, kind of when it had an earnings, kind of came back down. We kind of said that he's going to hold the 200-day exponential moving average and then continue going higher, and that's exactly what happened. The 21 kind of came in and kind of took back over and just been riding up. Like, as of right now, I don't think I can give too much insight here because it's just been, that's just pretty high elevated up here. Potentially looking for a toppy pattern around 270-ish because it kind of broke through the 1272 already here from the previous swing high to low, so it's kind of been kind of a pretty crazy movement. Again, with multiple gap ups, it's going to be a hard one to kind of, you can't buy this right now. It's going to be too difficult. Jacob, we can look at BA. We just kind of looked at BA. We kind of wanted to hold above 180 and kind of grind up that purple line. Makeshift WSCH. I think I own that in my long-term account. Yeah, I do. Let me pull that up. So I bought this sucker a little bit ago. What did I buy that at? Let me look it up. Hang on one second. I'm going to open another account. I bought it. I'm not a big. I bought it. Why does this not show my... I'm up $5 a share. Oh, I have my... Okay. I think I bought it here at $16, it looks like. I bought it here. That's where I kind of have my mark below it because I kind of said once the 200-day kind of comes into perspective here. I like this one. Yeah, this is the company that does the... Basically, they're not building their own electric cars like everyone else. They're just kind of building the potential infrastructure for those guys. So I think it's a really good bet. So the lower the strike price of selling puts, the more bullish you are. The lower the strike price, I don't know if I understand that. So the lower the strike price on selling puts, the more bullish you are. The lower the strike price. So what do you? So let's go back to BA. So we have, I believe, these, we sold the 180s, which they're currently actually in the money, I believe. Are they in the money? They're kind of trading in around it. So we sold the 180 puts here. We didn't do it all outright because the amount of capital it takes is pretty substantial. So we sold these, and then we bought the 175s right above it or below it. So you would sell these on the bid and then buy the ask, and that gives you that put credit spread, allowing you to kind of collect that premium. And again, you're betting on that to continue grinding higher. Normally, that was a pretty aggressive bet. If you wanted to be a little bit more conservative, you would potentially kind of go further out. So again, I guess this is where we kind of line up. You're saying lower the strike price, the less bullish I am, but the higher premium or the lower premium I'm going to get because it's less of a risk. Hopefully that makes sense, right? That makes sense? I can actually show it better to you on here. No, I can't actually. That didn't work. Hopefully that was helpful there. My brain's have a little caduceus here. I think once the market bell's gonna ring, we're gonna call it a stream. Any got more questions out there? Just go ahead and join the Discord. We can always just go from there, ask questions, all that fun stuff. That's fantastic. There's the bell. Wonderful, wonderful. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. I really do appreciate it. Potentially do another live stream sometime this week, and then we'll have our traditional one on Sunday, and we'll have a lot of fun. Again, guys, safe trading out there. Stay safe. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.